Before I start the video, I'd like to thank all of you for your support. I never expected to get views this fast. As of the time I'm recording the script, I have over 100 views and nearly 5 hours of watch time. Also, I started an Instagram account, so check me out at Triforce Truths. I'll put a link in the description. Now on with the video. Now The Legend of Zelda is probably the best video game franchise ever, at least in my opinion, and has a lot of great games in the franchise. However, as newer systems and newer titles get released, some of the older games begin to be outdated. Being a relatively young gamer, I haven't had a lot of experience with older games. Because of this, I always get put off when I see a game with poor graphics. That's why I'm always excited when remakes like Link's Awakening for the Switch come out. However, there are certain games that I would like to see remade and remastered for current systems more than others. Now keep in mind this is a personal opinion, so don't yell at me in the comments about it. Alright, let's get into the list. Number 5. Phantom Hourglas. I love handheld consoles like the DS, and in fact recently got a 3DS of my own. But one problem with these devices is that they're not usually very powerful. However, the Switch is a huge step up from most of these devices, and I would love to see a revamped version of this game. Some minor changes I would like are for things like even more ship customizations and just overall quality of life changes really. I wouldn't change the art style at all, just keep it like Wind Waker and improve the graphics a little bit. I don't think it would be incredibly hard to do, and it would be really great. I had to choose between this one and Spirit Tracks, and honestly, it could go either way. I ended up opting for this one because I like the ocean feel and it seems more like a true sequel to the Wind Waker, but I'd be happy with either, or even both, coming to the Switch. Number 4. Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. Neither of these games is really complete with the other, and I don't think I would enjoy having to link the games together as much as before. However, there are plenty of ways to get around this. Nintendo could sell the games separately, but make it so you can purchase the other game as DLC once you complete the first one. This way, you could get the whole experience without worrying about the use of passwords and linking and all that nonsense. Or, even better, you could just sell them as one game, giving the Link the option at the very beginning of the story to go to Holodrum or Labrina. Graphics-wise, I don't think I would want another game in the style of Link's Awakening, as that game has its own charm and is very fitting for the gameplay. I don't know what they would replace it with, but Nintendo's very creative, and I'm sure they could do amazing things with these games. Number 3. The Minish Cap. I think the Minish Cap is probably my favorite 2D Zelda game of all time, and I would absolutely love to see this game remade for the Nintendo Switch. I love the gameplay and unique mechanics, and honestly I could go on forever about why I love this game. It has gotten really outdated though, having the same problem of being on an old console, since it's a Game Boy Advance title. I know it was released as part of the Virtual Console program on 3DS, which is great, but that was just a port rather than an actual remake. I think the game could have so much potential for a remake, being such a fun and bright game that's really enjoyable to play. Honestly, I don't think I would change anything about the game gameplay-wise. I would just update the graphics and things like that. I think I'd stick to the graphics on the art, shown here. I love how it looks, and it's just as fun and bright as the actual game. Number 2. A Link to the Past. This game is often the first one that comes to mind when people think of the first real Zelda game, since it came out in the Super NES, which has a lot more power than the original NES. However, it has kind of fallen into the background. I know it had a semi-remake with Link Between Worlds, but it really just isn't the same. I know I said that I didn't want a Link's Awakening art style, but this partial remake by BlobVanDam is absolutely beautiful, and I don't think I would be mad if Nintendo did something like this. I'll put a link to his video in the description. Once again, I wouldn't change much, just some quality of life improvements. Now before I give the number 1 spot, I would just like to give some real quick honorable mentions. First of all, obviously Spirit Tracks, because it's basically the same as Phantom Hourglass. Also, I almost chose Ocarina of Time because this beautiful RTX remake fan game by CryZENx. It's absolutely amazing and I would love to see it, but since Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask came out for the 3DS as remakes, I felt they didn't need another one. Maybe sometime in the future though. Number 1. Skyward Sword. I'm guessing a fair amount of you guys were expecting this one, but I think it deserves this spot. This game holds a special place in my heart, as it was the first Zelda game I ever played. I was walking through a Best Buy and they were showing off the game in one of the aisles. I really enjoyed the demo and wanted it a lot. I got the game for my birthday a while later, and honestly, it was a great experience. I love this game to bits, and would be super happy if they remade it. Not to mention, the Switch has fantastic motion controls that would easily allow for the game to be remade. I know a lot of people don't like the motion controls, but honestly, it wasn't that bad. That's coming from a left-handed person playing a right-handed game. An option to make the game without motion controls would be nice though, as would make the game a lot easier for people with a Switch Lite, or who generally only use a Pro Controller. But unfortunately, this seems unlikely, as IG Onuma stated in an interview that Skyward Sword without motion controls would be next to impossible. This is because a lot of the puzzles and battles, such as killing the goblins and Deku Babas, relies on swinging your sword in the right direction. It would honestly remove a lot of the difficulty and, in my opinion, charm of the game if it was removed. Well, there you have it. My top 5 choices for Legend of Zelda remakes. Do you guys have any other preferences that you would want remade? I mean, there are 19 mainline Zelda games, so you have a lot to choose from. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section. Also, feel free to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. But until next time, I'm Triforce Truths, and I'm out.